What's up, YouTube? So this is a new investigative piece that I wanted to start. Whew, let's get into it. More than 100 immigrants lacking legal status detained in Colorado nightclub. They were raided by the DEA. So this is from Hill.com, thehill.com. Over 100 people, so it says dozens of immigrants without legal status were detained by federal agents in a raid at a nightclub in Colorado Springs, Colorado, early Sunday morning. Today's date is April 28th, and this was released on April 28th, today at 12 noon, earlier today. More than 100 people were taken into custody by immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE. Jonathan Paulin, a Drug Enforcement Administration DEA Rocky Mountain Division special agent in charge, said at the news conference, DEA officials said that more than 200 people, including at least 114 who were in the U.S. illegally, were inside the underground nightclub before initial arrests were made shortly after 4 a.m. local time. Wow. These people were in the nightclub after 4 a.m.? Dang, before 4 a.m. Nightclubs typically close at like 2 in the morning. So the fact that it's underground is one thing. The fact that there's multiple illegals in there is number two. And the fact that there are individuals that, number one, it's an underground nightclub. Number two, nightclubs usually close at 2 a.m. And number three, there are plenty of illegals there that shouldn't even be there. But the time is the craziest part. You're at the nightclub up until 4 a.m. or almost until 4 a.m. That's wild. I'm sorry for them, but I'm not a reporter. I'm just someone that likes to cover these stories. So I guess I am a reporter. And these guys kind of took it overboard. It's always said in reporting, don't put your personal opinion in there, but hey, this is my segment, and that's what I do. Me personally, y'all should have left at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's a nice little night, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. But y'all are at an underground nightclub, and you know you are legal. You know you should have left at 2:30, 3 o'clock. You went too crazy. And it's a Sunday. Come on, brother. Actually, it was a Saturday leading into a Sunday. So it's technically still Sunday, but you know the nighttime is not really Sunday at all. Okay. Only those here illegally and those with warrants were taken into custody. Most partygoers were eventually released. DEA Rocky Mountain wrote in a post on social media platform X. That's crazy. They're using social media platforms in order to get in touch with people, because that's where we are. So the power of social media is a big thing, guys. That just shows me that. About 300 law enforcement agents participated in the raid. According to Paulin, 10 federal agents as well as the local sheriff's office and police department assisted. Okay, 10 federal agents. Now, this has kind of been an investigation for a little while. 10 federal agents, because the feds don't get into it until, you know, it's that time to really like buckle down. So this underground nightclub had to be under surveillance for some time, honestly. Because they don't just move like that when it comes to the feds. The feds actually take their time to investigate the situation, and then they move into it if there's anything discoverable. President Trump touted the raid in a post on his Truth Social platform while seeking to tie the law enforcement to some of his controversial deportation moves that have sparked battles with various courts across the country, including the Supreme Court. A big raid last night on some of the worst people illegally in our country. That's what Trump is saying. Drug dealers, murderers, and other violent criminals of all shapes and sizes, and judges don't want to send them back to where they come from. If we don't win, this is all Trump, if we don't win this battle at the Supreme Court, our country as we know it is finished. It will be a crime-ridden mess. Make America great again. Trump posted along with video of agents confronting fleeing patrons. Now, Trump, being in Texas, I see the masses of immigrants that are here, and there's a proper protocol that comes along with being an American citizen when it comes to getting paperwork. Yes, it might take a long time, and I don't know the situations. I don't know anything, but as a black person, I was a slave. My ancestors were slaves at one point, and we had to fight for our freedom. We didn't have a test to take in order to obtain it. We literally had to run. We literally had to get away. So opting out of that and coming into America illegally is something I support, but I also don't support, because I understand the struggle of wanting a better life. But I don't support it because you have an option to do it the legal way to get into America. I can't judge anybody for their decisions, because you never know the reason why. It could be, but at the same time, if you're at a nightclub at 3 o'clock in the morning, but you're the main one running home to your family, you deserve to have a good night. But I definitely see where Trump is coming from when he says, like, if we don't win this battle in the Supreme Court, our country as we know it will be finished. Because as someone that's a job seeker and a job giver, you want to have qualified applicants in order to hire. And if you can hire someone illegally for $7 an hour, that cuts out the person that literally went to college to get their education in order to obtain that position. At the same time, that could be someone's blessing in order to get that position and get into America and get their family off to a good start. We don't know their past. We just know what they're doing right now. And honestly, if you have a family, you shouldn't even be at the nightclub at that late. So that's what Trump said, and that's what I'm rebutting. In the video, police began to smash a window as red and white police lights flashed on the building. Multiple people then exited a nearby door in an attempt to run past parked vehicles as police yelled at them, with several agents appearing to point weapons at some people. Another video shared by the president and administration account showed agents with badges indicating they were with various federal law enforcement officials, including the DEA, FBI, ICE, and U.S. Postal Inspection Service. What the U.S. Postal Inspection Service got to do with that? And the IRS law enforcement arm. In the video, a long line of people stand with zip ties on their hands, apparently waiting to board a bus. Paulin said authorities were investigating the club for a number of months. See, I told y'all, niggas. I told y'all. They was investigating it for a number of months before conducting Sunday's raid. This morning, DEA, the DEA apprehended over 100 illegal aliens at an underground nightclub frequented by TDA and MS-13 terrorists. That's crazy. What the heck is a underground? The DEA apprehended over 100 illegal aliens at an underground nightclub frequented by a TDA and MS-13 terrorists. What the heck is a TDA? What is that? Attorney General Pam Bondi wrote in a post on X referring to the Vietnamese gang Tren de Arugula and the international gang MS-13. Oh, they're calling them terrorists. Okay, I've heard of MS-13 and TD8. I've heard of MS-13 before on movies, but I didn't know it was like still a thing. So for those that don't know who MS-13 is, I'm gonna pull up some stuff. So MS-13, commonly Mara Salvatruvicia, commonly known as MS-13, is an international criminal gang that oriented in Los Angeles, California in the 1980s. Originally, the gang was set up to protect Salvadorian immigrants from other gangs in the Los Angeles area. Over time, the gang grew into a more traditional criminal organization. MS-13 has a long-time rivalry with the 18th Street Gang. Okay, but the 18th Street Gang has nothing to do with this. But TDA, let's see. So the Tren de Arugula is Tren de Arugula is a transitional criminal organization from Venezuela. TDA, Tren our guerrilla, formerly known as TDA, is led by Hector Rutherfornes Gorelio Flores, alias Nino Guarino. I'm sorry, man, I say your name all the way wrong. He was incarcerated in Tocorian prison, which functioned at the time as an organization's de facto headquarters. The gang was expanded throughout Latin America and the United States, with a mass migration of Venezuelans fleeing the region of President Nicolas Maduro. Combating the gang has become a priority for many nations where TDA operates. Although Tocorian prison was taken over by the Venezuelan security forces in 2023, the leadership escaped? Bruh. The leader of TDA escaped from jail in 2023. On January 20th, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order and initiating the process of designating various drug cartels and transitional gangs into TDA as foreign terrorist organizations. The designation took effect on February 20, 2025. In March 2025, so they're saying that Trump put out a warrant for all these people in order so he can get all of them. And he's saying that they're all terroristic organizations, foreign terroristic organizations. Because they just want a piece of the pie, honey. Let's be honest. If it like the tree, they want something for me. America be like, what's for me? What is it for me? Yeah. Okay, let's get back to the story. Okay, among those encountered, the DEA said weapons and illicit drugs were recovered from the raid. Boydie said white girl, another one that rhymed with Seth, and pink white girl were seized. 2 people were arrested on existing warrants, she said. I know the 2 people that got 2 warrants. Like, dang, why did we come here? Among those encountered by law enforcement were more than a dozen active duty military. Along those that were arrested at the club, there were more than a dozen, more than 12 active duty military people who were either people that were partying with them or security for the nightclub. So people in the military knew exactly what was going on and went along with the underground nightclub and partied it up or participated in getting their coin. Gotta do what you gotta do, but dang, that kind of shows you like America is like 50-50. Either you see it or you don't. Some people say they seen it and they didn't. Some people say they didn't see it and they saw it. That's America for you. That just tells you there were over more than a dozen active military that were there. Wow. Some service members at Fort Carson and military post in Colorado Springs were present at the nightclub. And spokesperson for the post confirmed to Hill on Monday. Sorry, my mom was somewhere else. Let's get back to this. Some service members at Fort Carson and Army posts in Colorado Springs were present at the nightclub. Okay, some service members for Fort Carson and Army posts in Colorado Springs were present at the nightclub. A spokesperson for the post confirmed to the Hill on Monday. Each person involved in this incident is presumed innocent until proven guilty. This is what the spokesperson for the active military individuals that were there that got apprehended. Each person involved in this incident is presumed innocent until proven guilty. We will look at everyone's situation on a case-by-case basis, the spokesperson told The Hill. Illegal activity of any kind do not represent our military values, end quote. The DEA special agent indicated, y'all, some of the words I just can't read that fast. So don't say I can't read and I'm like, no, yeah, you can't read. You don't know what you're saying. You find me in like not a credible source, because my words don't always be right. Y'all better redo it, because if y'all watching this with me, y'all know it's gonna be real straight up, baby. The DEA special agent indicated the Army Criminal Investigation Division will be involved in the investigation. Dang. Okay, there's a video here that I didn't watch that I'm gonna play for you guys. And we're gonna do that together.
We specialize in caring for older adults like you. So
do you feel confident? Do you have anything to say? From the moment.
Okay.
We went to grammar school together, we went to high school.
What's going on? Okay, let's make it big screen. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm waiting for this ad to stop, but as I'm doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and send this over so that you guys can see everything that I'm seeing on my end. It sucks when like you're trying to do a true crime story and you don't know. Okay. Guys are liking this new segment, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. Leave something in the description, even if it's a little heart or a fire emoji. And then hit that like button for me, please. Go ahead and hit it right now. Hit it right now.
A major DEA operation at an underground nightclub in Colorado Springs leads to the arrest of more than 100 people who federal officials say entered the U.S. illegally. Officials say drug trafficking and prostitution were happening inside that club. Video from the DEA posted to their X page shows the moment when officers arrive and people from the club start to panic and flee. Fox 31's Aaliyah Sims has more on this story tonight. Aaliyah, who federal officials say entered a major DEA operation at an underground nightclub in Colorado Springs leads to the arrest of more than 100 people who federal officials say entered the U.S. illegally. Officials say drug trafficking and prostitution were happening inside that club. Video from the DEA posted to their X page shows the moment when officers arrive and people from the club start to panic and flee. Fox 31's Aaliyah Sims has more on this story tonight. Aaliyah?
Yeah, Kim, this has been a long-term investigation by the Drug Enforcement Administration and a number of federal partners. Now, federal officials did undercover work and they conducted surveillance for months to identify what was going on here.
More than 300 law enforcement officers assisted in the operation led by the DEA Rocky Mountains Field Division.
We seized quite a number of guns and took a number of people into custody. As a result of this operation is that Colorado Springs is waking up to a safer community today.
DEA Rocky Mountain Field Division Special Agent in Charge Jonathan Pullen says significant drug trafficking, prostitution, and crimes of violence were happening inside the nightclub located near Airport Road and South Academy Boulevard. Officials made entry just before 4 this morning. ICE, one of the agencies a part of that operation, taking dozens of people into custody.
So as you may suspect, when the cops showed up at the door, most of the drugs hit the floor. And we did find cocaine. It looks like some pink cocaine or the Tusi. We had over 100 illegal aliens inside as well, and those over 100 illegal aliens were taken into custody by ICE.
Pullen says more than a dozen active service members were in the club during the operation, and they were involved in some of the crimes, either as patrons or working as armed security.
Yeah, it's obviously concerning to have active duty military involved. We're working with our partners at Army CID on that piece. Obviously, where we are here in the Springs, there's a lot of military bases here, so it's not necessarily surprising, but we're going to take that very seriously.
Federal officials say the nightclub was frequented by Trinidad Aragua, MS-13, and Hell's Angels, but they could not confirm if any members were involved in the arrest.
The message is we're not going to stand for this criminality in our city.
And earlier this year, the DEA raided what they called a makeshift nightclub in Adams County. At that time, more than 40 people who they say were in the country illegally were arrested. Reporting live here in studio, Aaliyah Sims, Fox 31.
Honestly,
Kim, this has been a long...
Me personally, I would have hit under the car because you don't see nobody. You see everybody trying to run, but you don't see nobody under the cars. But what if somebody run me over? Never mind.
Term investigation by the Drug Enforcement Administration and a number of federal partners. Now, federal officials did undercover work and they conducted surveillance for months to identify what was going on here.
More than 300 law enforcement officers assisted in the operation led by the DEA Rocky Mountains Field Division.
We seized quite a number of guns and took a number of people into custody. As a result of this operation is that Colorado Springs is waking up to a safer community today.
DEA Rocky Mountain Field Division Special Agent in Charge Jonathan Pullin.
Colorado Springs, Colorado, y'all got this much people going over there? I mean, it is Colorado. Who be worrying about them? That's smart.
Says significant drug trafficking, prostitution, and crimes of violence were happening inside the nightclub located near Airport Road and South Academy Boulevard.
He's gonna get her money, honey.
Officials made entry just before 4 this morning. ICE, one of the agencies a part of that operation, taking dozens of people into custody.
So as you may suspect, when the cops showed up at the door, most of the drugs hit the floor. And we did find cocaine. It looks like some pink cocaine or the 2C. We had over 100 illegal aliens inside as well, and those over 100 illegal aliens were taken into custody by ICE.
Pullin says more than a dozen active service members were in the club during the operation, and they were involved in some of the...
These are human beings that they're apprehending. And so sometimes when they say illegal immigrants, it makes it a little softer. But you're taking human beings that have a life, and you're putting them on these vans. And how do they even get back there so fast? We don't know. It's just like the kids that were in the cages during COVID. What happened to them?
Crimes, either as patrons or working as armed security.
Yeah, it's obviously concerning to have active duty military involved. We're working with our partners at Army CID on that piece. Obviously, where we are here in the Springs, there's a lot of military bases here, so it's not necessarily surprising, but we're going to take that very seriously.
Federal officials say the nightclub was frequented by Trinidad Aragua, MS-13, and Hell's Angels, but they could not confirm if any members were involved in the arrest.
The message is we're not going to stand for this criminality in our city.
And earlier this year, the DEA raided what they called a makeshift nightclub in Adams County. At that time, more than 40 people who they say were in the country illegally were arrested.
Wow.
Reporting live here in studio, Aaliyah Sims, Fox 31.
I know you can say that word on the news, the white girl.
Need more excitement in your life? Come join Walkabout Cap Year at Campy.
But I'm super excited about y'all, my brain just went somewhere else. That's like my default. I'm super excited. I'm not excited about, dang, what am I talking about? I am excited about this segment though, and diving deeper into this segment. I'm gonna watch another video. I think it's the same video. It's about a minute long, but it might be a different edit. So let's watch this one as well. This one I can barely hear. So they busted the window. Everybody storms out. They should have just gone to the left.
So this is an underground illegal nightclub, okay? And what was happening inside was significant drug trafficking, prostitution, crimes of violence. We seized a number of guns in there. We had active duty service.
The girl was on her phone. And then she like, I'm gonna go to jail. Girl, come get me. The girl in the white knew. She was like, I'm just letting y'all know I'm finna get in jail. I'm finna go to jail.
Members who were running security at the club and involved in some of these crimes.
She's on the ground on the phone,
and in fact, we had over 100 illegal aliens inside as well, and those over 100 illegal aliens were taken into custody by ICE.
You gotta be.
When the cops showed up at the door, most of the drugs hit the floor, and we did find cocaine. It looks like some pink cocaine or the 2C, and there was a little bit of other drugs, but we haven't had time to test everything, but there were dozens of small packages of drugs that they've recovered so far that I have personally seen. We estimate over 200 people were inside the nightclub when we came here tonight, and so that's why we needed such a large force. You know, anytime you're dealing with that many people, we want to do it safely, and that's what we did.
Yeah, it seemed like they did it safely.
The police with a search warrant, demanding entry. Exit the front door. Occupants of 296 South Academy. This is the police with a search warrant, demanding entry. Exit the front door one at a time with nothing in your hand, held high above your head. Listen to the commands of the officers on site. Ocupantes de la casa 296. Esta es la policía con una orden de cateo exigiendo entrar. Salgan por la puerta de enfrente uno por uno con las manos vacías y las manos arriba, sobre la cabeza. Sigan las indicaciones de los oficiales presentes.
Because that little video, shoot, that video was like only 2 seconds long, so it could have been done safely, could have not been. Being honest, we're gonna see how long we got in this video so far, guys. I don't think it's been 30 minutes as of yet. Okay, so let's see. This is from NBC News, an estimated 114 undocumented immigrants were detained at an underground nightclub in Colorado after a Drug Enforcement Administration raid, officials say. Jonathan Paulin, the DEA special agent in charge in Denver, said more than 100 people were detained after a months-long investigation involving the Colorado Springs club lead to the raid Saturday night, which ran into early Sunday. 2 of the patrons were arrested based on active state warrants. I just got to the point where I don't want to read no more. I just can't. Okay. 3 things about. Oh, it's another video.
Occupants of 296 South Academy, this is the police with a search warrant.
First of all, them are high quality videos, so I know they got all the covers.
Exit the front door one at a time with nothing in your hand, held high above your head. Listen to the commands of the officers on site. Ocupantes de la casa 296. Esta es la policía con una orden de cateo exigiendo entrar. Salgan por la puerta de enfrente uno por uno con las manos vacías y las manos arriba, sobre la cabeza. Sigan las indicaciones de los oficiales presentes.
I kind of talked over that a little bit, so I'm gonna let y'all watch it, okay? Yeah, welcome back, and welcome back. Wasn't that crazy? Wasn't that crazy? Like, every time I do a video, I'll watch the video and then I'll let you guys see the video right after. That way y'all can get full transparency and full clarity of the situation. And that was NBC News. Okay, so man, this was definitely a story that we're gonna keep up with. My thing is, these are the 4 things that I come up with when it comes to, this is 8. 4 things that concern me, or not even concern me, 4 things that just come to my attention when I'm doing this story. 1, where do these people go once they get detained? Like, what's the process? How are they treated? Are they fed? You know, do they get sent back immediately? Are they processed? How do we document all this information that if they're illegal? 2, slavery. Slavery comes to mind all the time because my ancestors were slaves and they had to escape certain situations and not have better situations, but we were escaping slavery when people were actually taking ownership of our bodies and trying to say that we were theirs. So that's the difference for this. 3, it's really hard for me to have the most sympathy because my ancestors were slaves and we were forced into those situations. I don't know what it's like in Mexico because I've never been there. So I'm talking about my people now. I'll give them some grace next. I've never been to Mexico, but I know what Black people went through. And if we had an opportunity to be in our own country and run it our way and do whatever we want to do, I think that we would take that without nobody bothering us, honestly, because every time we build something, they always break it down. Every single time. It's historically known. And what do? We can't do nothing, honestly, unless somebody stands up. 4, I do have grace for them because you don't choose the life that you're born into. God does. And he gives us the opportunity and the strength to go out there and make our lives different. And that's something that we have to do. Everybody around us wants a better life. Everybody, even if you live in a suburban home, you want a bigger home, or you want something else that you don't have. And so they're creating a life for themselves that they didn't have, and I can respect and understand that for sure. 5, Trump, shut up. You are 100% right when it comes to the radicalness that's needed in order to document these illegals, especially when he said in his quote right here, like, I get what he's saying. It's just empathy. I don't want people to get turned from these people thinking that they're all horrible people, because I grew up in a neighborhood where it was majority illegal people and they would come and go and disappear. This has not been a new thing at all. This has been going on for years. And so they're not all bad. They're just human beings that want a better life. Some come illegally, pay their taxes, pay their car insurance, pay everything on time, do what they got to do, and help other people that are in a struggling situation to afford their bills. And so all these things kind of coexist together, I believe, for the good and for the bad. It's just honestly how you look at it. And how I look at it is, as long as I got a job, I'm making my money, I'm paying my bills, ain't got nothing to do with me. But the moment that gets away from that, then that got something to do with me. Because there's an option for y'all to take a test. And I don't know that process at all, so maybe that's something that we can investigate later. But let's see. How long does it take to get U.S. citizenship as a Mexican? The time it takes to become a U.S. citizen as a Mexican national can vary, but generally it takes 5 years as a lawful permanent resident green card holder, or 3 years if married to a U.S. citizen. The normalization process involves several steps, including applying, attending an interview, and passing the citizen test and oath. So that's 3 to 5 years. That's why people get married. Okay. Green card, lawful permanent resident. To qualify for naturalization, you typically need to have been a lawful permanent resident green card holder for at least 5 years. If you're married to a U.S. citizen, you can apply for what the heck is naturalization? I'm like, what is that? Naturalization? The concept of citizenship naturalization refers to the process by which a foreign national voluntarily becomes a citizen of a country where they are not born. It is the legal way someone changes their nationality. Oh, and becomes a citizen of a new country. Oh, so a citizen of a new country, eh? It's called nationalization. Wow, that's an actual thing. Wow, so there you have it. It takes 3 to 5 years to become an actual citizen and change your citizenship. Dang, so that means that they don't belong to Mexico no more. They're now a U.S. citizen. So if you come from Portugal and you get U.S. citizenship, how long would that take? I'm going to see it. Portugal. Maybe see if it's easy. And they just giving the Mexicans a hard time. Let me see, from, I don't know, Portugal. If you're from Portugal, how long does it take to get U.S. citizenship? Every Portugal, it takes 5 years. So it's all the same thing. Mexicans ain't caught. Okay, it's the same thing. If you're from, okay, let's see Canada. Yeah, okay, so it's all the same. Wait. Oh, you can approximately take 14 months. This can vary. Wait, it says for Canadians seeking U.S. citizenship through naturalization, the typical time frame involves first becoming a lawful permanent resident, LPR, or green card holder, and then waiting a specific period before applying for citizenship. The standard wait is 5 years as an LPR, or 3 years if married to a U.S. citizen. The entire naturalization process, from filing Form N-400 to the oath ceremony, can take approximately 14 months. But this can vary. Wow, that's from Canadians. So it's a little different depending on where you're, because Canadians, it take up to 14 months. So what is LVR? The citizenship stands for lawful permanent resident. Okay, guys, well, for Canadians, it's a little bit easier. For people in Portugal, it's just as hard as people in Mexico. But if you're somebody that's affected by immigration and the laws that are honestly hunting your family, all I can do is pray for you. And I just ask you to keep your head up during this time. I don't know what you're going through. Nobody else knows what you're going through. But have self-empathy for yourself. That means be kind to you. Be nice to yourself and say, you know what, self? I didn't know this was going to happen today. But hey, God, I thank you for it. God, we thank you for all the things that you do. Thank you for President Trump. Thank you for President Barack Obama. Thank you for President Biden. Thank you for President Kamala Harris. Thank you for the DEA. Thank you for the FBI. Thank you for ICE. Thank you for illegal Mexicans. Thank you for the fruits on the trees, God. We thank you for all the things that you do for us and do through us, God, and making a way out of no way. We love you. We thank you. And shout out to all the families that were involved. Help is definitely on the way. Jesus love more because. I'll see you guys in the next segment of A, the Investigator.